I love that. Someone said it's almost woods o'clock. Yes, it is. It's almost woods o'clock. Who said Emma Hughes? Oh my goodness, Emma Hughes. You knew? I think you sound familiar. Jordan George. Good. What's good? Everything's good. Good to see you. Tectonic Night. What do I think about the terror attack in Russia? I don't think about it. I only know what I read in the papers. You know, I read on the news, and I don't trust anything I read in the news. So I have to do more research. Hey, Toby, how you doing? Yes, you're right. I'm not a goddamn onion. Suicidal Grapefruit. Con Orlock is in the house. Good to see you. Hello, hello, hello. All right, Lucas. Where are you guys? Are you, Narks, are you in Vegas this weekend? I don't know. Let me know. Beaner, how you doing? Good to see you. Glad you're back. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Lightning Bolt. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Commander Maverick. Good name, Commander Maverick. Commander Maverick. Oh, it's a movie you're watching, right? See, this is why we love Freya. This is why we love G.I. Jane, because she understands the important things. What's the plan for today? Today's plan is I have to do a misinformation podcast is in town, and I'm meeting with them over at the airport, at the hotel. And so we're gonna do he's got a thing set up. We're going to do a interview with him today. And it's raining out here in LA. Look at you guys. Amazing. Freaking amazing. I love it. What are you just visiting? Why are you in Pennsylvania? Are you in Pennsylvania? Where are you? Narcs? Are you keeping secrets? Are you hiding? I haven't read a lot about it. I have a lot of distrust with media reporting anything like this these days. There's video footage of it, but who the fuck knows, man? Well, I know this. It depends. I guess it would depend on what your affiliation politically is. If you, some people are going to blame the U.S. Some people are going to blame the Ukraine. Some are going to blame Norway. I mean, it depends on I think it depends on your political associations, how you assign blame for it all. It's horrible, but Omar, good to see you, man. There you go. We love our horses. Yeah. Of course they'll be blamed. Did they do it? I don't know. Would Putin do it to his own people? Of course he would. I mean, would we do it to our own people? Of course we would. This is the thing about the media. The media is owned and controlled by the people in power. They own it. They just watch American television. Look at this shit they're talking about Trump now again. This bloodbath bullshit. I mean, did you hear it? So please, whenever you watch something, have a high degree of skepticism of what you're being told, because it's programming. It's a way of getting you to be afraid, getting you not to speak up. Look at the whole fucking COVID thing. They're going to threaten you with your job, with your life, with your freedom. The truth is, if you just everybody should go watch the movie 1984, read the book by George Orwell, because we're heading fucking headlong into that. Headlong. I watch a lot of when I want to study another culture, like the Russians or Ukrainians now. Yeah, of course he will. Of course he will. But it's also, we don't know what they're going to do. So what I do is I try to watch the televisions and movies of the culture that I'm interested in. So all last year I was studying Russian TV, Russian culture. Because remember, TV, especially in America, it's true, and in these nations, rarely do you have something that's not sanctioned by the state. Especially in China. China's like, they're amazing with the power they have to decide how China looks on screen. They have absolute power. I've been in negotiation meetings and actually seen it happen, where they say no, the Chinese cannot be a villain ever, and so when I watch the television and film programming, like the Russians have a real strong nostalgia for World War II, and the heroism that was not acknowledged by the West. Now, I am not a pro Putin guy. I'm not a pro anything. I'm pointing something out. When the Russians, from what I can see, they feel very strongly that they were never acknowledged. That they lost 50 million people in that war. That's the mid estimate of it. 50 million casualties during the war. Now, a lot of that was self-inflicted by the Communist Party, by the socialists, right? By the progressives in Russia. They killed a lot of their own soldiers. But so the thing is, you got to look at what they create for like you watch Korean television, watch Japanese, see how they see themselves. And so I started watching Ukrainian television, and they do. They're pissed. I watched this movie about it's called the Travesky, about the last warship that defied the Russians during the Crimea invasion takeover. And it's strange. It's like you don't realize how they share a language, they share a culture, but yet there's this deep hatred kind of. Anyways, it's important to watch some TV, watch some stuff that comes from another country. Just get to understand how the people think. And when you see something like that happen, you see that the Russians, whenever they have what's called a political officer, and that he's somebody who makes sure that and the Nazis had it, the Germans had it, is that when you have a political, so you want to make sure that your soldiers are politically aligned with the government. I mean, it's there, it's all there, but you got to watch and start taking in other cultures through how they see themselves. I remember you, dude. Yeah. Well, how are you at Narcissus? How's that happen? Hey, Eugene. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you again. Bob Donald. Bob Donald. Well, it makes no sense. Why would ISIS attack Russia? Why? For what? ISIS is their Russia, if anything, is probably again. Russia leans more towards the side of Iran, and ISIS are. So why would, again, you got to think common sense. What's in it for them? Why would they do it? Hey, next door neighbor, how you doing? I know, but see, we have the illusion. Canada is becoming very much the same as Russia, as China, because we have the illusion that there's no government interference, and we have the illusion that, but when you listen to just a difference in opinion, a difference of, anything, we have the illusion. Yeah, we have the illusion. I think we're getting less and less. Again, I don't trust. MSNBC, NPR, they're all like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you really going to call half this country murderers and Nazis when all they want is a border? I mean, that's, yeah. Alexo, how you doing? Oh, there you go. I like that. Good stuff. Hey, Nerevar. I love you guys changing names just to confuse me. See, you guys are like going into Trader Joe's. They keep moving all the food around. 1 week the produce is on the left side, and next week the produce is way over on the right side. So that's how I feel you guys are. Yeah, it is awful. And it's like, what's awful is we can't even figure out who did it anymore, because there's almost no way to ascertain the truth of that. Am I scared for my career? Situation, voice plans. I think we there's negotiations with the editors going on right now, and I think we've already lost this fight. We are just a remnant. I think if you're a star, you're a star, but becoming a star is going to become more and more difficult as time goes on. I know I have friends who own production companies. They bought the rights to dead celebrities so they can reconstitute, like guys like John Wayne, right? I'm not saying who, but they can start making. It's getting so lifelike, and I don't know if there's any protections about. I mean, even with Activision getting somebody to imitate me, is that a violation of my performance rights? I don't know. Is it? I know if you. So there's a lot of questions about it. No, you've got to in terms of your career as an artist, you got to keep changing and adapting, because it's too. The rule of thumb as an artist is this: it is not a civil right. Nobody owes me anything. Nobody owes me a job. Either I add value to what you're doing, or I don't. So I got to continue. You must, as an actor or any business, continually figure out, how do I add value, and how do I get paid for that value? Yeah. Let's go. Name here. Big Media Controls. Oh, let's get real conspiracy. Did you get cast for anything? Yes. I'm in a movie. I started April 1st. Fun film. I'm not at liberty but I do begin shooting. I have fitting is next week, and we start shooting the first week of April. So yes, I'm in a film, and there may be another film coming up, but I can't. Yes, but I will start shooting something now. It's a fun one. It is. It's kind of like a very sophisticated sci-fi quasi zombie thing. It's more. What's that word? When you hit, it's like when yeah. It's more phenomenal. It's what's the thing when you have like ghosts and shit? Paranormal. Like a paranormal horror story. Yeah. Titanic Night. Yeah. Yeah. Have you been tracking that? Again, is that real? Has that been planted there? We don't know. We don't know what's happening with that stuff. Again, be careful what you absorb, left or right. Pay attention. Look around you. Walk down the street. Talk to your neighbors. You be very careful of what you absorb from the media, especially in that little fucking handheld devil you got. This is a nightmare. These are a nightmare. Everything on here is designed to agitate you or generate. So be careful what you stick in front of your face, because it will impact your day. All right. So I've seen that. I have seen that. Talk to people who've gone to the border, and it's no joke. There's an invasion. And when Dr. Phil, who I don't normally like Dr. Phil, but he seems to have come around to thinking like a normal adult. Before, he's very, very, very on the progressive, touchy-feely side of things. But now he's coming around and like, shit, something's happening here that can't be explained with just incompetence. I think dinosaur news has already. Well, I think it's already been replaced. I think what we watch every day is a version of that. I think that happened shit pre-COVID, So I think it's already happened. Yeah. Yes, they should. Let them know. Oh yeah, I loved Euphoria. I'd go back. I love that. Yeah. Not an alien movie. I play a cop. I play a grizzled New York City NYPD veteran. Yeah. I have not watched Dune Part 2, and I'm a big fan, so I will be watching that, yes. Do I like Crusades? Well, it depends on what you talk about, Crusades. Crusades. Remember, I think that's misunderstood by many people. The Crusades were not an invasion. Well, it turned into an invasion, but the Muslims Islam had come and conquered all of Europe, and enslaved most of the Slavic people and brought them back as slaves. So the Crusades were an attempt to drive out an invading force from Europe, because the only place you can organize is through religion. So that's a part of the Crusades that people conveniently leave out, that it was a massive invasion of Europe by Islam. Again, I'm not, this is not. So again, look at, and the idea is that always check your information, check your stats, make sure you understand that history gets rewritten by everybody has a voice. History will get rewritten. In terms of Crusades, as something to crusade for change or crusade for your own career. Yeah, I mean, being focused on an outcome is a good thing. Yes. Hey, North, how you doing? I will keep safe. Thank you. Nemo Rocket, I am the same. All right, good to see you, man. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. How are you? What's going on in Russia, man? What does Russian news say? Because like I said, I do not trust the media in any way, shape, or form. All right, at all. There's nothing I trust. And when I see I've got to do a deep dive, I don't trust leaders in any of these countries. I think at the very top level, they're all working together, and so when I see the loss of life in Russia, it's I'm just curious as to what is being said on your news, because we don't get that news, or if we do, it's still curated by Google. It's curated by whatever we see, it's curated, which means that it's handpicked, it's censored, and we see a very limited version of what's out there in terms of news. And we have been trained to be very lazy. We have been trained to be we've been satiated with short thoughts, right? And think like what really happened there. We'll never know, because so I want to talk to you. I want to hear more about what's happening from your point of view. And like I said, I've been watching a lot of Russian TV, and I'm watching Ukrainian TV, and it's such a complicated situation. It goes way back to the Tartars, and people don't understand just how complicated that part of the world is. You guys have been living together for 2,000 years, so well, of course, everybody thinks it's justified doing that. It's, again, like anything else, it started off as a good thing. They're trying to free their home from an invader, and then all of a sudden you start getting a little success. Now you become the aggressor. You know what I mean? Like that's a very human trait. God, I watched this great Austrian film called Iceman. It's about a tribe about these basically ancient human beings, like 5,000 years ago, living in the Alps. It's just brilliant to see just how they captured the human behavior really well. Anyways, I digress. Thank you. So am I. I was not in the military. No, I was not. Zacharoo, how you doing, Zacharoo? Jason Downey. All right, Jason, can I speak about you? Let me know. I don't know what the protocol for you is. All right. Well, yeah, but that again, that is those movies are designed for people to. It's just movies are entertainment, and if you do not look, if somebody wants a hamburger, you cook them a hamburger, you know. And so with movies, yeah, it takes. It's so hard to get a movie made. It is so hard. It's so hard to do anything in this business. So when someone says, "Okay, I'll give you some money, but I need this to happen," and if your film doesn't make money, the people gave you that money and they'll get paid back. You get no more money. So it's in Europe. It's a little easier because they have more government funding. That's why they have less pressure to make a commercially viable film. But here in the States, man, if you're not making money, you're not getting any honey. Yeah, I know. All right, Nemo Rocket, how you doing? All I can say is that this whole war is wrong. Two peoples who live in the same country now have become, because I have hope. Yeah, but Nemo. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. When I watch again, when I watch I take that television is all propaganda. I take it up. So I was watching this Ukrainian, and there's just bitterness over that. Now they're not Ukrainians anymore. They don't see themselves. There's many who don't see themselves as Russian, and there's Russians who've been living in the Ukraine for generations who believe that, well, wait, this is my home. That's a complicated thing. How do you guys address that? How do that's if they don't want it, if all of a sudden, again, it's how do you, again, I'm not being contentious. Like, I don't, how's that done? How do you get, like, if Texas wants to be its own country, right? Now they're Texans and they don't want to be Americans anymore. Like, well, all right. How do you reconcile that? We're in it's a big pickle over there. Yeah, I think, but by your position, you think that Ukraine is part of Russia, or are you saying that the Russians in Ukraine? I mean, again, it's just I'm just curious about how that looks from the. Now, again, I have no judgment on this because it's not my place. I don't know enough. But how does that look? Are you saying that there's the Russians and the Ukrainians in Ukraine should act as one? Or are you saying that Ukraine is part of Russia, which is, again, from watching Ukrainian content, they really don't think that. Yeah. Yeah. I'd love to know. I'd love to have more insight from you. What money? Well, that was actually, thanks, man. Thanks, Lemon. That was actually the very first scene we ever shot. What I ever shot. We had actually shot before that, but that was the first scene I've ever shot. I don't know. I don't know what they did. I think it's such a lost opportunity. You imagine the two of us together, how much fun they could have been. The two Woods, the two of us. I think it was again, they make really bad decisions. I think why the game is kind of getting less and less popular. They keep making these really poor decisions about what the community wants and needs. Like, you imagine if they had encouraged me to join. Hey, can you come in and work with us and get this new guy up to speed? Oh, fuck yeah, sure, be happy to. But they didn't do that. They told him not to come on my show. They told a couple other actors not to come on my show. And yeah, I mean, the guy who plays CIA guy, they told him not to come on the show. And it's like, it's all good. It's all good, but it's just what a lost opportunity to integrate the past and the present. That opportunity. Well, I mean, it's not funny. I mean, that's like you. Well, how far away are we from this? I mean, love. I don't care if you hate him or not. What's happening to Donald Trump with this with his real estate? That's terrifying because because there's nobody, there's zero claims of fraud. There's no crime committed, no bank, nobody who the man did what every real estate, every developer, every person who sells something asks for what they think their car or their house is worth. Here's what I think it's worth. Here's my belief in what it's worth. And it's up to the bank to say, no, we think it's only worth this. And then you go, okay, well, there's no fraud, but yet they're coming after for $500 million. How far are we away from having this in our own country? And this concerns me, and the refusal for IDs, for letting anybody vote. And now we're allowing. I actually see somewhere that in Illinois they want to allow illegal immigrants to carry weapons. Is that true? Or is that just is that the right being? Yeah, I don't know. I can't tell. I don't think they're poorly made. I think what they are is that, again, I was just saying this a minute. I jump around here in conversation. Like I said before, I think what this is, it's like with let me change the zoom on this. This looks too weird. All right. Yeah, I got some really bad. So what it is, they have to make a profit. They have shareholders. So when they go in front of the board, who aren't creatives, they're just money people. Say, well, if we give you that $250 million you need to make this game, how are we going to make that back? And they say, well, here, historically speaking, this game did that. Okay, so we want more of that. So just like with film production, they hint the need to make money, and I don't fault anybody. This is just a business decision. The need to make money trumps, kind of becomes more important than the creativity. It's a balance. What are popular things that the community likes, but we have to serve our investors. We have a responsibility to them. So I think a lot of it is just that they keep trying to remake what has been successful, and they try to tweak it enough to make it different. But you can only do that so many times. It's like a sequel. How many Rocky sequels did we have? First 3 were pretty good. The rest were pretty weak, right? Even with Star Wars became, they couldn't progress Star Wars, so they had to make it, now it's a social statement, right? Now it's this, and it's still weak as hell, but it's now used as social commentary. So the idea is that making games is being creative is a tough thing, and having the freedom to create in something new and take a chance doesn't exist because they have to make a profit. Yeah, it's being shoved down your throat. All right, I'm setting up my. I have an interview today. Again, it'd be under what's it called? The Miss. Yeah, I have an appointment at noon. I got to handle that. Anyways. Yeah, well, here's the thing. And this is why I get pissed off, because I spent a lot of time with our military. I was in Afghanistan, me and Kumar, rest his soul. The USO flew us around to a lot of places, and I met a lot of soldiers. And some of these men and women are just, all of them, to the T. I have nothing but, glowing reports as to our men and women in the military, and to see them wasted by fat politicians, like this whole thing in Afghanistan is a fucking travesty. What the Biden administration did with that exit is it's criminal. I think it's criminal. And And the whole thing with the Benghazi, the Benghazi, what's it called? With the ambassador, consulate, like fucking bring in a fucking inspector, bring in the gunships, bring in the fucking jets, and protect your people. And the fact that they that should be outrageous, you know. And, but I think that's done purposely to dishearten. This happened in Russia. This has happened when you kind of create this lack of, again, from what I've seen in Russian movies and TV, like, you know, make division among your, you know, so only people loyal to the party get protected. The people aren't loyal to your party are sacrificed. And that is what I sense happened here. You know, same thing with COVID. The guys, these warriors, these great military men got fired because they wouldn't allow an untested genetic level chemical be injected into their body. Say, no, that doesn't, you know, the army will give you a sex change, but won't give you the freedom to decide which, you know, what drugs you want put into your body. It says enough. You know, we're in trouble. I think we're in fucking trouble. CMVP, it's going great, man. I'm going off on all types of fucking politics today. Well, I think that's a little different. The Saigon mess was there are some other things involved in that. If you start doing the homework, there's more and more Freedom of Information Act comes out there. Yeah, they really remember we didn't have the technology we had today, and yeah, and that's the story for another day. How is Kemley's in town? I'm going to try to bring Kemley onto my show today. Until her and her dad are here. My brother Rick, he's in town. He's negotiating he's a negotiator with the editors union. Kemley and I went to the range yesterday. It's going great. She's moving along. She is getting there. She's getting there. She's funny. She's just a funny kid. Always has been, but now she's kind of turned into a. But she's doing it right, you know. But she's doing it right. She has a job. She works for a law firm. She has a good job. You know, she has, you know, she's doing it by the numbers. I love her whole approach, you know, and that's yeah. What if I am? So fucking what? All right, I read it. So what? See, shit like this is stupid. This is, and what's his name? Vitor Barreto. Dude, man, I know you're kidding, but why? It's not even a funny joke. It's like that, you know, that's the thing. So that is why don't do that. Do not create enmity. It's enough. You will have enough bad shit happen to you in your life. Do not invite more. Okay, doesn't matter if you're fucking gay. That's not your problem. That's someone else's problem, right? Or someone else's situation. You know, how they deal with it, that's their problem, or that's their blessing. I mean, that's not for us to decide. The point is, we have enough going on in our own lives not to worry about what the fuck someone else is doing. And we definitely, remember, we have rules. We never use other people's words, thoughts, or action to create a personal definition. When you do that, you are a slave. If you use another person's words, thoughts, or action as a way to define yourself or feel good about yourself, you are a slave to that. And so you're either going to have to kiss their ass or bow your knee to get them to say and do something so you can feel good. If you have your personal freedom and happiness dependent on someone else's behavior or the words they say or don't say or things they do or don't, you're fucking screwed. And this is this whole what happened to the whole woke agenda, right? You want to control everything, so I don't ever have to feel uncomfortable. Dude, hey, yeah, don't listen. This is a great learning moment. No, I love when guys do this because we can sit there and talk about it, but don't be sorry about it. Realize that how much shit have you lost in your life because of that attitude? Because whatever made you do that, was it maybe a need for attention? Do you know how much shit that might have cost you in your life and your career or as a student or friendships? So I want to really look at yourself. Say, okay, why am I doing that? And just make sure that you realize every fucking word you say means something, right? It tells people who you are. So who is that? The guy you want to be? You know? Yeah, I know. Is it? You think it's well? It's not really advice. It's me commenting on. This is my life, man. I believe this shit. This is how I try to live. I believe this. So when I spot it, I want to talk about it. You know, because it's important for me to remind myself. You know. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. Hey, Kelvin. Glad you're here. I like your thumb. Coffee break. Let's see. Let's see. I heard the military went woke. I don't know if that's true. I've read that. It's terrifying because now you have people who you are arming and training that have no real connection to the country. They have no. They're here to get something, and they're here. They'll be loyal to a party, not to the country, and that's when it's a problem for me. Yeah. I love Ken Burns. I mean, some of his stuff is a little. His Vietnam thing was amazing. His Civil War things. Hang on. Hang on. I'm texting Kemley. She's coming on the podcast meet. Let's see. I made this. I made this. I was at a party, and there it was. It's back, but a few years ago, they had these parties where at a pottery place, and somebody at the party, he would make a pottery. So I built this massive coffee goblet. I'm not sure what I can talk to you about. Again, there is a project that's coming up. I start working on in a week or two. At least the plan is that anything can change in this business. Everything can change. So half the reason I don't talk about things because so many times I've had things booked and they say that project got canceled. So what I do is I just I try to be as light-handed with predicting what I'm doing next because you just never know. Western Rome. What about Eastern Rome? Did that do okay? Yeah, well, there are those who believe that all that wealth that was assembled in Rome became the Roman Catholic Church. I wonder. Yeah, I really have a hard time with Catholicism. I grew up Catholic. They were fucking brutal, just brutal. So I have a lot of concerns when I read. Anyways. I think that is. I think that's happened in every culture. I think that's part of what happened in Germany. People don't realize what happened. I kind of on the same. There's something I was reading the other day I found really fascinating. They're talking about why France is so left leaning, and you got to remember that World War II was devastating to Europe. Most of when I was there, I found it fascinating that I was playing hockey in Belgium in the early 80s, which is only 30, 40 years removed from the war. And I was shocked to see how very few late middle-aged men there were. There are almost no old men because they all died in the war, the Germans. And same thing with the French. Most of the really strong Frenchmen, because they were badasses, man. The French resistance, they were fucking badasses. They all died. So who was left to take over? You know, all the guys who stayed home and, you know, who were unable or unwilling to go defend their country, right? They became the dominant males. Beta males became, you know, dominant males. So that's why a lot of what you see happening in Europe now is because the men who were more traditional masculine types, they all died in the war. And that's why, there's a whole generation of men that were raised by women, you know, which is, you know, you need your mom, but you also need your dad to, you know, kind of, hey, toughen up, you know, you're all right. It's just a cut. You're going to survive. You know, you need that. We need that. Those of us who people have functioning dads tend to have a better go at life than those who don't. You know, that's just technical. That's that the research is in on that one. Hey, Calvin. Yeah, we were talking about it earlier. Actually, we have a young man here. Why? It could be. I trust it's a young man. Yeah, we don't know. You know, we don't know. We don't know. Like, it's like that's. There's now everybody's claiming and denying and claiming. Who the fuck knows what happened? It could be Georgians. It could be Ukrainians. It could be now ISIS says it's doing. It could be us. You know, I still think we blew up the fucking pipeline. I don't know. We're in a time when nothing's going to make any sense. The cycle was messed up. I don't know what that means. Yeah. Let's see. What time is it? Oh my gosh, it's 9:42. Yeah. Yeah. I don't pay much attention to that stuff. Now, don't be sorry. The thing is this. Don't be sorry. There's nothing to be sorry about. What it is you learn that you've got to transform everything. Everything must be transformed. Any event in our lives has got to be transformed into something that we understand and builds character. That was, became, the insanity that was my upbringing in the Catholic Church, it was insanity. It was fucking insane. Like you had to figure, why would you tell a 6-year-old kid he's going to hell? He's going to burn forever. And the nun would take your hand and put it over flame, over a candle. Here, this is what hell feels like for the rest of your life. And it's because I said I'd rather be fishing than sitting here being told I was a piece of shit. So I was 7. Yeah. Well, isn't that an unholy thing for a 7-year-old to want to be out in his backyard playing with his dog and go fishing? What an evil motherfucker he must have been. A 7-year-old kid who wanted to play with his dog in his backyard and maybe go fishing. Yes. Let's tell him that behavior, they're going to send him to hell. And that's the kind of shit I'm talking about. So, and then you add in all the abuse by the priests. The Catholic Church has got a lot to fucking clean up, man. I mean, I get it, but they have a lot to clean up. My before I even my cousin's a very, very devout Catholic. I go ahead, Yeah, well, I mean, okay, here's the thing though. Do video games help promote violent behavior? Does music help promote violent behavior? I don't know. It's programming, right? It's programming. You keep hearing this saying, kill the cops, kill the cops. Now you hear a rap song that says, killing cops, hating cops. If you hear that over and over again, it becomes a belief system. Remember, a thought that gets repeated becomes a belief. A belief that's given time and attention becomes momentum. So does music influence your thinking? Of course it does. Does it influence emotions? Of course it does. It's design. I write music. I know what a D chord does. I know when I change one step, it changes the entire song because it's a vibration. So yeah, I've definitely think that video games can possibly influence the way people see the world. Absolutely. No, the world's not gloomy. It's you got to guard your gates of impression. Make sure you don't just believe because it's on TikTok, right? Most of it's horseshit. Most of it's lies. Most of what you see, believe that 90% of what you see on YouTube and on TikTok and Instagram, it's all horseshit. It's all lies. None of it's real. So get outside, walk around, do some push-ups, build something, acquire a skill, learn how to do some plumbing, do something learn how to garden. That's real. That you can equivocate, that you can figure out whether it's real or not. But media, spending time with media it's all pornography. Even like I have my new addiction are hockey highlights and dogs. Watching dog channels. I just love it. But I'll spend 15 minutes watching dogs being cute. It takes it. That's 15 minutes you do not get back. So remember, it's all lies. None of it's fucking real. It's all manufactured. It's all edited and manufactured, and it's all curated by an algorithm to tell you. It's all there to manipulate. The most important thing we have to offer everybody is your attention. Where you put your attention is where your life goes. So pay attention to your attention. What are you focused on? Again, a thought that gets repeated, a thought that you give attention to becomes a belief. A belief becomes, belief given time and energy becomes your momentum. And that dictates the quality of your life. Is it good is it momentum in your life, or is it momentum that's not serving your life? But be very careful. The stuff you focus on, the whole thing. This is how you know the most valuable thing a human being has to offer the world or another human being is our attention. And the evidence is how hard people work to get your attention, to get you to focus on something they want you to focus on. That's called advertising. That's this whole thing about how the algorithm works. It's how you grab people's attention. How do you hold it? Because once you have it, you can program what they think. And this is just science, man. This is old science. Well, why? What again? This is too obvious. Like this is like the ramp up before World War I. It's like the ramp up before World War II. Everyone starts, and it's funny how the U.S. did not want to join either of those wars, but were sort of forced into it. But we no longer had the freedom to sit. Our shores are very porous. We have no border. We are basically, from many people's points of view, under attack, under a soft invasion. It's called same soft invasion happened in Ukraine. When the Russians just started coming in, living a couple hundred years ago. The Russians, same soft invasion happened in Germany when they had to bring the Turks into because all the young men were dead from the war, so they needed somewhere to work. So they brought people in from other countries. They said, this is how we do it. This is how we're like an organism. It's called osmosis. We flow to the least pressurized pressure. And we flow, into a. You remember osmosis? What that is? Cell membrane. If the pressure is greater on the inside, then you have flow out, pressure is greater outside, the flow goes in. Yeah. Yeah. So you hope TikTok gets banned. I know. But and this is where the consequences are really dangerous, because now you're encouraging the banning of communication. So, okay, maybe, but then they can say, well, you can't use your cell phone to call somebody who is a Republican. Yeah, I mean, this is the unintended consequences of this kind of rules are that, oh, hey, by the way, okay, if you bought a gun ever, then you're not allowed to, when you start making okay to shut down businesses, then who decides, who protects you when they come after you? Now, I'm not saying I'm not a fan of TikTok. I know ByteDance owns them, and I've been in a room with ByteDance, and they're owned by the Chinese, and they're not here to help. Okay. So that's my opinion on that. But be very, very careful when you start banning things. People have got to be given the freedom to make decisions. But we can't make a decision unless we have good information. And good information is filtered or bastardized, then we can't make. It's a tough circle we're in. Yeah, we need to make personal decisions based on what we want. But if we don't get good information, we can't make good decisions. So then we got to, and then they create crisis. So now we have the government say, well, we need National Guard in our subways. Well, why did you let it get that bad in the first place? Only to bring in National Guard. You could have nipped that shit in the bud 3 years ago. You didn't. You defunded the police. Now the subways are a shithole. It's New York. Oh, we'll bring in the National Guard. All of a sudden, do you see the escalation here? Yeah. Hey, Barry, of course I remember you, man. How are you? Great question. I'm not always confident in myself. I'm not always positive. I battle that every day. Because here's the thing. For me, I always have to remember that this too shall pass. In Zen, it's like you must become a blue sky. I am a blue sky. My thoughts, my emotions, whether good or bad, pleasant or unpleasant, are just clouds passing through my blue sky. You got to hold that true. You got to make that a truth in my life. I'm a blue sky. All that stuff is just something passing in front of me. And if it's a great moment, that's going to pass. If it's a horrible moment, that will pass too. If I just, sit back and say, all right, I am not defined by my thoughts or my emotions. So people think that, oh my God, you had a racist thought. Yeah, so what? It's how you act on things. Oh, I had this angry moment. I wanted to kill this dog. No, yeah, it happens. But did you stop yourself? Did you change? Did you not take action? You're always going to think and feel things that may not be appropriate for the moment. It's what you take action on. It's your actions that decide your character. Everyone's going to have everyone. You can't help it. Just can't help it. I mean, you can struggle to have a really clean, pristine point of view, but everyone goes through some darkness. Everyone goes through some light. Just trust that the next thing is coming. Be ready for it. Just be in the moment. Just stay in the moment. And that's the only thing I got. I am not always. I can't stay. I can't stay positive. I guess I answered your question. Yeah. Is I always remember that it doesn't define me. A bad moment or a good moment does not define me. What defines me is can I pay attention? Can I control my attention? Can I get my thoughts to go where I want them to go? For me, that's the mark of a man. I can't say what a woman is because I'm not a woman. But for me, it's always going to be about manhood means I am striving to have mastery over my thought and mastery over my body, and to understand and negotiate with my emotions. Those are pretty hard to control, but practice will give you some skill at it. You don't, man. You look at it's talking to women. What you're doing is I lack confidence. That's what it's like. Look at you're not gonna like when I'm saying this. You lack confidence because you haven't done the work. I'm guessing, right? There's a lot of I was a very shy kid. I was pretty accomplished as an athlete. I was shy because of my family, because of some other issues. But the work is: are you showing up for yourself? Are you taking care of your body? Are you taking care of your? Are you learning? Are you the more accomplished you become, that means are you good at school? Are you reading books? Are you learning? Is your body in shape? Are you eating properly? All these things come first before you start talking to women. Are you squared away? Do you have things in order? Do you have an income? Don't worry about finding and talking to a woman yet until you have a way to say, hey, listen, can I take you out for a coffee? You follow me? So the confidence comes from confidence is pretty much equivalent to preparation and execution of your life. And if you're not properly prepared, then you will lack confidence. If you're not properly prepared and you go in, that's arrogance, because it will come back to you can't say, well, I'm gonna play in the NHL, and then you've never skated. You get it's gonna be obvious you don't belong there. And so that's one thing's arrogance, the other is confidence. So it's really tough to distinguish the two, and that's part of the journey too. How do you find out the difference between confidence and arrogance? Let's see. Well, good. I'm glad you're on the same page. What is Project Nova? Isn't that from Black Ops 2? I can't remember. Yeah. Yeah, again, that is them protecting their brand. They have the right to do that. Remember, this is their brand. Nobody owes you a living. Nobody owes you anything. And if you're gonna play, if I'm gonna play in somebody's game, then I gotta play by the rules of that game. I can't go play a football game and decide that I do whatever the fuck I want. No, there's rules to the game. And this is my house. You come into my house and decide that you want to start breaking shit. No, it's not okay. Or you want to start, it's funny. So Activision has a right to move anybody they want. We're volunteers, man. So when you work for somebody, you got to respect their desires. Oh, it depends on the circumstance, I guess. I don't know. My guess is that it's depends on the circumstance. Gent Moore, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you again. What are you up to now? I see you're still doing interviews and things. Congratulations, good for you. God, you're 2 years out of high school now. Man, it's been a while. I have heard about the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight. Yes, I have. I don't know. I've followed it. I've been seeing all of the swing. I mean, I can't trust anything I see anywhere. It just doesn't. I don't know. I don't know if Joe Rogan is real anymore. I know he's real, but when I see clips, I can't tell if that's him talking or AI. Because a lot of shit, he didn't say that. When the fuck did he say that? And so I see these training clips of Mike Tyson, and fuck. But he's 60 years old. Now, wait a minute. At 60, I was feeling pretty good, but I was not like that. So I don't know, man. I haven't followed it enough. It's an exhibition fight. I don't know enough about Jake Paul. I just don't pay attention to these guys. I don't pay any attention to it. I have too much to do, you know. It's good, man. Look at it. No one's gonna kick you off. It's good. Own it and then move on. Just change the behavior. Dude, you're welcome here, man. You are. Look at you're gonna make mistakes. All right, make him in a place where there's low consequence. There's low consequence here, man. So, yeah, it's a bad joke. Don't. It's not even a joke. It's just for me. It looks like when I do shit like that, and I do shit like that. It's me uncomfortable. It's me trying to get attention. It's me not feeling quite know what to say. Wanting it's excitement, wanting to participate. I get that, but now you see that there's certain things that don't do that. You know, it's find I call that low hanging fruit. Find an intelligent way to present yourself. You did, you will, and man, good on you for owning it. You're the kind of guy I want here because you take a little bit of a licking, come back, say, yeah, I fucked up. Sorry about that. Boom, you're a hero. I love that. Good for you, Jan Moore. I love when people take it. Jan Moore is he's a talented young, entrepreneur. Does a lot of things. So good luck on you. Glad to hear it, Jan. Glad to hear it. You know, I have not watched Quiet on the Set. That I've been hearing about it. I have not taken the chance to do that, and actually been really busy with auditions and prepping for a couple projects. I have it's a film that I'm about to start, and then I have another project right after that as well. I think the director stopped in and said hi. Are you here, Jason? You here? Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So I'm excited to talk to you about that. It's like it might be a lot of fun. Yeah. Do I like Ben Shapiro? I used to like Ben Shapiro a lot more before he started reducing his commentary to insults. I thought he was very intelligent. He would speak and not fall into the practice of attacking people. You know, when he started calling Joe Biden poopy pants and sort of insulting, getting personal. I liked him when he was really focused on the argument, on the issues, on the topics. I thought he was brilliant. Like he really made great arguments. But as time goes on, he's becoming more and more. He seems to be becoming more and more about personal attacks, and then he loses me. That's what I hate about. That's what I hate about about the lefties. You know, is that it's like they just hate Trump because they hate Trump. But look at his policies. You know, okay, hate him, but geez, you know, look, half the country agrees with his policies, which aren't awful policies. You know. Oh God, there's so many. There's so many. Dude, I can't even begin to talk about that. Probably the last day's shooting with Dave Anthony from Black Ops 4. That was probably my favorite experience. When neither of us, we both knew that we would never, ever be doing this together again. And we did not want to let the sun go down. We sat in the back and let's have another drink, because we knew the minute we get into the car and the phone rings, our lives go on. We move on from this. Remember talking about Blue Sky a few minutes ago? Our careers are like that. And there's sometimes you get a cloud up there and just stay a little bit longer. And was that moment. Dave Anthony was the director of the Black Ops. He basically created Black Ops. In our work relationship was amazing. The collaborative work relationship was amazing. And we'd sit there. And we just had so much fun doing it, and we just did not want to let it go. We sat there, all right, one more drink, and we talk about the history, and because we knew the minute we walked on that table, got into our cars, and we'd answer our phones. It was over. So we just kind of held on to it. Like in a moment in the movie where somebody doesn't want, can't let someone else go. We gotta go. We gotta go. All right. This is it. It's over. Boom. It's that moment there. I've had a few of those moments in my life where you're at that one point where, especially outdoors. They call them have you ever been outdoors before a storm? Right before, it's called calm before the storm. It's a very real thing. Like, I remember we were at this lake. I was at this men's retreat, banging drums and shit, and you see the storm front. There was this rain, sleet coming across the lake, and it was just, you see the water chopping up, and it's coming right towards the camp. And then there's wind blowing, it's chaos, and all of a sudden, nothing. It's warm air, dead silence for about 4 seconds. Felt like forever. And then it's like, look, it's just dead calm. Oh my God, it's kind of a gorgeous moment. And then boom, the winds and the rain, but there's that, it's called the pressure front. Your ears pop. Anyways, that was kind of the moment, Marwin, this guy. Marwin, man, we're due for a conversation, man. I haven't talked to you in such a long time. Miss you, man. Marwin has a great 141 podcast. Go check him out. Marwin, please drop in a link here. Him and his crew have a great podcast, and they talk about some really cool shit. Yeah. You are? I'm in, man. Yeah, I'm in, baby. I'm in. I am in. This time I hope I can stay for more than 3 minutes. At some point, at some point, I'm doing a lot of things, and bringing people on the show. I probably will at some point. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I saw your Gene Farber interview. He's a great guy, right? Gene's great. I love Gene. He's a good man. Good man. Let's see. We're an hour in, so I'm going to stay on for another until 10:30. Yeah. He is. He is. Just, I call him centered. He always appears centered to me. He's got a great family. He's got a great wife. He's got kids. He's got a really solid career. He knows what he does well. He's in his zone. He knows what he does well, and he does it. So he's very centered. And I like being around guys like that because I need to be more centered. No, it is not booze. It's water. Let's see. Do I ever play Elder Scrolls? I have not done that. I'm not a big gamer. I'm paying a PlayStation. I haven't played in 3 months. I may get rid of it. I may have to move on from the whole PlayStation universe. Personal reasons. It's raining right now, Orla. It's raining. Actually, it's sun showers. Beautiful though, because it has been cool and it's been wet and it's green. It is green. California's never green, but it's like I was up in the hills just today, and flowers, man. We got spring flowers blooming in the desert. All right, James, what happened to Cold War zombies? What do you mean what happened? Why do I not play anymore? A bunch of reasons. There's reasons, personal reasons, and quite frankly, I make a choice some days. Do I sit down and I edit on something, or do I play that? Do I play a video game? And the reason I play video games was for the community, and the connections that I developed. But those are hard to maintain. So yeah. No, I'm not. Yeah, I got a PlayStation 4, man. Again, I'm not good enough at the game to actually. It's not going to affect what I do. Thanks, Sonny. I appreciate that. Yeah. No, Marvin, I'm pretty sure that he was talking about why I don't play anymore. Change this angle here so I don't have to. Right. There's ads again. Yeah, I'll fix it. Well, he was. He did. It was Emerson Brooks who played the character. Then they brought in Bowman. Then they brought in Ice Cube to do the VO. But the guy who I worked with, and there's a video of us doing this. If you go down below, his name is Emerson Brooks. Fantastic actor. What a great guy. And he was there for Black Ops 1 and 2. He was, and he's one of the reasons that relationship is so good. Yeah, because our relationship was strong on camera. Well, you know, again, I still have an account. I may jump on. We'll see. Well, and that's healthy, Jantmore, because like the video games are great, but it's time you don't get back, right? It's like, do I invest in myself or do I invest in this thing that is it serving me? Is it really serving me? You know, does it serve me to attain my goals? So I like your I like your well, but don't call it a sacrifice, all right? It's a choice. Because if you call it a sacrifice, then you're building in obstacle to your success. All right. No, it's like you love something. I just love this. No sacrifice. Like when you're an athlete, it's not like you're giving up movies. Like, oh my god, I just love shooting pucks. Oh my god. It's just like I think that moment with Dave Anthony. We said we just loved the moment. You know, we just loved it so much. Didn't want to be anywhere else. There's no sacrifice. Me sitting in the booth and writing all day for that. It's sure it came at the I wasn't doing other things, but I loved it, so I didn't care. I didn't care. It's all you want to do, and that's where success lives, guys, girls, whatever. Is you have to get obsessively invested in what you're doing to the point where there's nothing else you want to do. Everything else is like, oh, I'd rather do this. That's where you need to be. Yeah. Personal favorite, I think Eisenhower. Yeah, Eisenhower. Ike. Kennedy was good. Kennedy had a bunch of flaws. Eisenhower, because he warned us. Because he was the only wartime. He was a general, and he was there, and Eisenhower. No one ever talks about Eisenhower. Eisenhower was when you listen to him, you hear what he said, what he tried to do, and the things he was up against. Eisenhower, yeah. Sure, I get that. Absolutely. And I have, at some point, I said, do I relax or do I go to bed or do I go outside and do some exercise? So I've been choosing the movement part. Hey, rebellious cat, how you doing, you magnificent creature, you? Thanks, Serbia. Appreciate that. Wow, Serbia, I'm glad you're here, man. I'm glad you're here. Yeah. Yeah, me too. I'd like to get one more go before I pull the plug on this whole acting thing. You know, as long as these offers keep coming in, I'll keep doing it, you know. But I'm not working hard at it anymore. You know, I'm not sure. I don't know enough about him. I like his I like the way he fights against the vaccine mandates. I like how he stands up to the left side, to the left. I'm not sure I agree with his stance on Second Amendment rights. I think having the right to bear, I think as if we're going to start giving guns to people who just walk over the border, that scares me. If we're going to start putting guns, if we're going to start making illegal immigrants part of the military, that's a problem. And you already seen it's like, and I don't understand why people are voting for the Democrats, especially in communities where there's so much violence. Like, you defend yourself. I mean, just statistically speaking, when you look across the country, the safest places are where people can openly carry guns. I'm not talking about what's going on in the inner cities, because that's mayhem. That's socioeconomic crisis. But in other parts of the country, I just know, when somebody has a gun, you just behave better. You're not going to be stupid around it, because there's a self-maintaining thing. Now, granted, people get stupid too. Like, if you're drunk, you shouldn't have a gun on you. Or if you're emotionally unstable, you should not have a fucking gun. But most people are stable. Most people I know who carry weapons are pretty fucking stand up and stable. You own PlayStation 5? Yeah. I get it. I can barely tell the difference. Barely tell the difference. Well, I don't think there's a campaign. I mean, everything is now a war zone. So I don't know if the campaign is something that is never going to be done again. It doesn't fit into the new. I mean, it's all this open platform, war zone, Fortnite, all that massive universe. And I don't think having a campaign is part. I mean, the campaign's built into, you are the campaign. You are now your own campaign. You are playing in your own story. Trashy rednecks. I don't know what that means. Trashy. See, when you say, are they rednecks and trashy because you don't like them? I don't know what that means. Trashy rednecks. That means you disagree with their politics. You disagree with their behavior. When I hear you say trashy red, I don't know what that means. What you consider a redneck, I may consider a farmer. What someone considers trashy, I may consider, well, God, they just really have, they just want to be respected for their opinions. So I don't know what you mean by trashy rednecks. I mean, there are people who are just, who are problematic and they're bullies. That's different. But trashy is an opinion. It's a judgment on the behavior. And calling somebody a redneck. I mean, people call me a redneck, right? Get me around a redneck, I'm not a redneck anymore, but compare it to somebody else, I'm a redneck. So I don't know what you mean by that. They poach animals. Okay. Trashy way. I don't think trashy way means that so basically I'm going to say trash is being literal. Like, say they leave, their yards are a mess. Their trucks belch smoke. Yeah, I think that is that's a sloppiness. I call that sloppy. That's slovenly. I like people who keep their possessions in order. I like organization. I like order. I like people on. Animal poaching. If you're hunting animals that are endangered, then I say, yeah. I mean, that's wrong. But if you're out there shooting deer for dinner, I have no problem with that. Yeah. Again, if you're invading somebody's land, ask permission if you're gonna go hunt on somebody's property. Hey, can I go hunt on your property? It's respect. So I think I really need to know more about the circumstance before I have any opinion on it. Because again, it could be just, I know people hate me because I own weapons. I'm a pretty nice guy, but they would call me a trashy redneck. Again, I don't know enough about that. Yeah, I would have agreed with you until the last couple of years, but it's not it's not a need; it's a right. Remember, this is where we start start the shouting match. Um, I was always trying to bring it back to what it should be, which is a conversation about Black Ops. Look at in the way I look at it, the Constitution is not the rules by which the government controls our lives. It's the way we control the government. The government is there to provide services that we agree upon. It is not there to tell people, to do what, you can't do that. It's like we have to, as a country, we need to agree on things. And yes, we need roads. Yes, we need border defense. Yes, we need healthcare. Yes, we need certain things. But it's not there to tell you, how to live. It's not there. You know what I'm saying? Like I just think that we have a misunderstanding of what people misunderstand, that the Constitution is not about limiting us; it's about us limiting the government. Somehow that's been flipped around, and having that is like in every country in the world, at all time, the first thing a tyrant does is disarm the population because you can't resist. And one day, this is going to come down where people come knocking at your door to take things away from you, and you don't want, and there's nothing to do about it. And it's even worse that if, I live in LA, I see there are people marching down the street here, breaking windows and shit. And if you get 20, 30 people coming into my door to do something, what are you going to do? And I know that's an extreme, but you prepare for the extremes. And you have, again, it's an opinion, but it's also my awareness that, all right, I want to be able to handle a situation when it comes up, if it comes up. And I hope I die when I on my deathbed, people say, you're just what's it called? A conspiracy knucklehead. And okay, I hope that's the case. I hope all the preparation I do is for nothing. But if something does go south, I need to have the ability to persevere and take care of people I care about. So that's my opinion. I respect your opinion. I respect it. I disagree, but I respect your opinion. And I'm not going to insult you for it either, ever, because I totally get that. People who don't spend time around firearms, or people who don't know people who generally, are, because I go to the range. I know these are everybody I know who's got is a good man or a good woman, and they they're smart, and they're very super responsible. The thing that we worry about is a person who's not that, and they will find a way to fuck things up whether they have a gun or not. And if you disarm everybody, then people who, we've had a lot of guns for many years in this country. I mean, growing up, people had guns in the back of the trucks in their house. Everyone had a gun growing up. Thing is, what changed? What changed all of a sudden that it now became okay? Some kids think that it's okay to be so mentally distraught that that's decision's okay to go out and do harm to a lot of people. When did that happen? Because for a long time, there's a lot of weapons in this country. Still are. What happened? I'm more concerned about why. Because if it's not a gun, it's a car. Knives kill more people than guns every year. There is, there's so many ways to do harm. And why is it all of a sudden become something that's we do it? And we're not looking at the cause. We're trying to say, take guns away. Well, no, that is still, they're going to find, guys in cars. What's triggering people to want to do harm to so many people, to other people. That's my concern. If we can focus on the methodology, and I hear arguments on that and talk about that, but I want to know why all of a sudden the shift came like 40, 30 years ago. What happened 40 years ago where now it became acceptable to do that? Or maybe it's always been happening and we just have more media covering it. I don't know. Hey, what's up, man? Again, Calvin, I agree with that, but it's also we have to have the ability to let people understand. Like people are afraid of people are afraid of it, and most people are afraid because they don't understand. I took my niece yesterday, and she never shot a gun, and she was terrified of it. But by the end, they go, "Oh, wait a minute! This is actually something here." You know, it's not like the gun goes off and does something. It takes a lot of skill and technique to actually do this stuff. So again, we got to have the freedom to have this conversation and not disrespect each other because we disagree. That's the most important part. You know, Charlie Palmer. They'll think that less guns equal less gun. I agree. In England, my buddy says it's much easier to get hold of legal firearms and machetes than you think. Yeah, I mean, do you people believe that if someone's on a train and they have an obvious means of protecting themselves, do you believe that that could be a deterrent to somebody doing something stupid? If they know there's instant consequences to a decision, do you think it's a deterrent? I don't know. I'm not. I say that is not as devil's advocate. I'm just saying. What do you think? It's spooky, Mark, isn't it? I mean, Black Ops 2 was very predictive. Now this, I mean, it's spooky, right? I think there already is a World War III. I think it's being done clandestinely. I think when you have 300,000 military age Chinese young men coming over the border and they disappear into this country, you don't think that's a sign of something? When you have 8 million people come over the border and we don't have any idea what the fuck they are, what they're doing, and most of them, that not more than half, are military age young men. I don't know. I think it's already started. I think what's happening in the Middle East I think it's already started. Now, what does it escalate into? I think it's going to be more about low-level conflicts that disrupt the ability to function as a nation. I think it's going to be a disruption of power, a disruption of just get people to not want to work together. You know, get people to hate each other based on one, like this whole gun issue. Like people hate each other over it. You know, and you got to give up your guns, or I can't feel safe. Well, I can't give up my guns because I won't feel safe. Then wait a minute, there's a way to deal with this. You know, there's a way to figure this out, right? Yeah. See, sure. So we agree because you've probably been around firearms and you know people who have firearms and they're probably good people. Most are, and that's what I'm trying to say is that if we vilify 90% of the population, 99% of the population with behavior 1%, that's where we got to have the conversation. Yeah, there's a film called on the Beach. It's an Australian film. They had remade it about that, where somebody started. They based it. There was the invasion of Taiwan triggered World War III, and they destroyed the planet. People get so emotional. I don't. That. Yeah. Well, Oh, I totally get you. Again, G.I. Jane, I get it. I totally respect your opinion. I get it. And I have no doubt that you're familiar with it. what I'm saying is that there is, depending on where you live and how you live and what you've seen and what you anticipate, that you got to have that. That's got to be a personal decision. You can't tell somebody they can't have something. You can't, like, well, you can't have an abortion. Oh shit, that's a touchy subject, isn't it? You can't have a gun because I'm afraid. You can't have it. That's not okay. That's not all right. You can't take away someone else's capabilities and freedoms because it bothers you. Well, you can't say that. I'm going to shut you down. That's what we have to look at. And you can't say, well, no, it's all. And we got to have the freedom to have conversations where we don't insult each other, and you don't want to destroy others. It's just we've got to change the culture. We got to change it. Totally. Oh God, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. We think of the Great Wars as World War I and II, but alliances, tribes have been fighting tribes forever. It's like, I mean, how many times has the Dakotas been overrun by other Indian tribes? The Sioux, they're all like, we have been joining forces and attacking enemies since time began. We are tribal by nature. Yeah. Well, I mean, England's going to have its own problems. Come from what I see in terms of their own distress with, you have a clash of cultures now. You have cultures that are incompatible, but yet they both believe they belong. You get 2 or 3 generations in, and you have cultures now that have grown up, and what's happened here in the States. We have cultures here that they didn't assimilate because we couldn't assimilate them because there's too many at once, and they make these little pods, and these pods are 3 or 4 generations, and they brought their cultural positives and negatives with them. All of a sudden they've recreated the culture they came from in a small area of the States, and now they want their voice. So wait a minute, your culture, you left that culture, now you created it here again, and it's as toxic as it was back then. Now you want to spread it. And that's and I mean, this happened with the Italians and the Irish, and when you do not assimilate people into this dominant culture, it becomes up for contention, right? It's happening everywhere. No, Serge, come on. This is that kind of conversation thing. We're talking about this shit today. Yeah. The most rounds are made out of metal, so yeah, it's kind of the same. Yeah, I think they use lead. I'm not sure what I think most muckets most use lead. I think because lead's more malleable, and I think lead also is easier to heat up and melt. Steel takes a lot of heat to forge, so. Irish, it's going good, man. I got a podcast due at noon with misinformation. I did that years ago. One of the first podcasts I ever did back in 2011. Well, anyways, I got my niece coming with me, and I'm doing what? Charlie, where do you live? Charlie, where do you live? Irish, are you still doing the show? I haven't been keeping track of anything, man. I have been up to my knees with stuff. Oh yeah, it's 1:30. All right, I'm gonna wind out. I'll be 1:40. I got 6 more minutes. Let's close this out. Been a great conversation. I love these conversations. I love being able to have express opinions and not have to destroy each other because we disagree. I fucking love that. Yeah. I do really play guitar. Yeah, actually, I write music. Actually, I may play a song for you guys before I go. See what you think. Yeah, I thought mesquite shoot lead balls. Yes, I remember when we were kids. They took us to a place over in I think Saratoga, and they had used to be a big it was during the Revolution War. There's a fort there, Fort Ticonderoga. And when we were there, it's like a school trip. We were probably 11 years old, and they took us into the armory and they showed us how they made cannonballs and they made shot, for the muskets. It's great. And they had the bellows and they made it with the actual equipment they used and how they poured it into the sand mold, and they had a 2-piece mold and they pour it in, and then you have the clip off the edges. It was really fascinating. Yeah, I do. I'll play you one song. This one, I've been working on this. Let's see. This is a cover. I kind of like it. I'm going to record this again. There must be some way out of here. Said the joker to the thief. Yeah. Working on that one again. They gotta fix the key though. What key is it? There must be some way out of here. The joker to the thief. There's too much confusion. It gets me. You and I, we've been through that. This is not our fate. Be barking now. It comes with late. Yeah, that's the better key. Key. Everything keeps changing with the key. No, Jude, that's not. No, that's not. You recognize from Hendrix, but that is written by Bob Dylan. People think it's a Hendrix song. It's not. Bob Dylan wrote that song, and Dylan, and of course, Hendrix did what Hendrix does, right? Have I ever been to New York? Let's see. Yeah, I used to live in New York. I lived in New York for 15 years. Yes, I lived in New York for 15 years. Loved it. Oh, thanks, Church. Take care, man. I'll see you later. We're 50 seconds left. Get your last shots in before we go. Anybody out there? Let's see. It's raining over there. It's raining here. It is raining. Off and on. Yeah. Hey, Charlie Palmer. Good talking again. Listen. Things are always cheerful, man. Make a decision. All right. Decide to be happy. Hey, Grapefruit, take care of yourself. And with 30 seconds down, next stream will be next Saturday morning. I believe it is. Yeah. I keep threatening to do one midweek, but pay attention. I may just jump on and say hi. I just do that from time to time. Yeah. Huh. All right, that's it. All right, as we say in the hey, Titanic, get out of here. Yeah, woods out. See you next week.